We start this broadcast with the big story coming from Pakistan. The country's National Security Council has approved Pakistan's first ever national security policy, and the same will be tabled before the federal cabinet on Tuesday. Now, according to reports, the new security policy will cover all internal and external security aspects, including the situation in Afghanistan and its ramifications in the region. The high-stakes NSC meeting had been summoned by the Prime Minister Imran Khan, was attended by Pakistan's Interior Minister Sheikh Rashid, the Information Minister Fawad Chaudhry, National Security Advisor Moeed Yusuf, and other key government and military officials in Islamabad. The NSC is Pakistan's highest forum for coordination on security matters. Earlier this month, Pakistan's National Security Advisor Moeed Yusuf presented the first ever draft of the policy before the Parliamentary Committee. The draft shed light on the country's economy, food and water security, terrorism and foreign policies. Now, for more on this story, joining us now is our Pakistan Bureau Chief, Anas Malik, who joins us from Karachi for more. Anas, thanks so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit more about this national security policy announced by Pakistan. What will it entail, especially when it comes to Afghanistan?
Well, Priyanka, this is more of a historic occasion when it comes to the internal security spectrum of Pakistan, because it's the first national security policy that has been approved on paper, because previously, we haven't seen the dynamics of internal security or external security or the national security parameters being defined per se. So this is indeed a historic step by all means. This policy that has been approved until the time period of 2026. It will be applicable until then. It was first envisaged in 2014 when the National Security Division at the Prime Minister office came into being. Bouts of negotiations took place between stakeholders as well. And finally, after about 8 years or about 7 years, this policy has been approved. Now, it focuses especially on economic connectivity and the economic aspects of national security when it comes to the country as well. The Pakistani Prime Minister has said that it is a welcome move rather towards ensuring rights to the citizens and commoners. The Pakistani leadership, the top tier, was present at the National Security Committee meeting today. Just a while back it ended, and with that, the approval of this policy has been done in principle. It will now be tabled before the federal cabinet until it is adopted. Priyanka?
Right. Anas, let's talk about foreign relations, which also was a crucial aspect of this new policy. Afghanistan comes to mind, and this comes at a time when trouble seems to be brewing between Pakistan and the Taliban in Afghanistan. Earlier, over the Durand line, and just today, the Pak Information Minister called the Taliban's policy of not allowing women to travel long distances without male relatives as retrogressive. So how will all this impact the relations between the two in light of this policy as well?
Well, the border issue is something that has been existent between Afghanistan and Pakistan. The Afghan side says that it is Durand line and it is not an international border. Pakistan, of course, has been fencing the border on its side, and it has completed about more than 90% of it. Last week, we saw at one point there was a border issue that was then amicably resolved, but we saw slurs being heard from either of the sides. So that is a persistent issue that needs to be worked out. The Pakistani side says that there are existing mechanisms that exist and that they are pursuing that, and with that the border, at least for the time being, those issues are resolved. On the other hand, the Pakistani side is taking a jibe or a blow at the Taliban's regressive measures, including the recent one which they had announced on women. So that would be seen by the Taliban as a sheer interference from the Pakistani side in their internal measures, and that might not go down well within the relations between the Pakistani side and at least governmental relations between Pakistan and Taliban. So that is something that would have to be keenly watched out, Priyanka.
Anas Malik, thank you so much for all those inputs, and thank you for joining us on WION at this hour. WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.